Chapter 13, Disease, its Cause and Cure. Health is the normal and natural condition of the physical body. All the forces of nature tend towards its production and maintenance. Disease is an unnatural condition and results from one of two causes. It is either produced by the mental attitude of the persons or by the adverse thoughts he attracts to himself. In the case of children, disease is almost entirely due to the unhealthful thoughts of the parents or those having the care of the child. Thought being the creative and controlling forces of the universe, it is capable of producing disease as well as health. Disease means an unnatural decay or death of the tissues of which the body is composed. Every minute of every day, there is going on within the human structure a constant and natural decay of its tissues. This waste matter is eliminated from the system by such natural outlets as the pores of the skin, the breath, etc. Food and air are taken into the system to supply the elements for replenishment and rebuilding with new material the parts that have served their purpose and decayed. All the physical organs and the various functions of the body are under the direct government and supervision of the mind, soul. Under ordinary circumstances, the mind can perform all its duties and see to it that the structure in which it lives is kept in harmony with all it needs and desires. When the mind is free to act, perfect health will be maintained. But when the mentalism from others influences or partially control it, it can then no longer perform its regular duties, and as a result, something must suffer. This is especially true when the thoughts that are influencing the person are of an unpleasant character and therefore cause worry, dissatisfaction, and unrest. The neglect occasioned by this distracting influence permits the decay or dead matter to accumulate in the system, and the elements necessary to replenish the waste tissues are not supplied with regularity. This accumulated waste matter clogs and prevents the natural workings of the system and poisons the otherwise healthy tissues. The physical machinery no longer performs its natural functions. The various organs of the body become weakened and begin to die. This condition is called disease. In such cases, during the few moments that the mind is able to escape from the influence of the adverse thoughts by which it is controlled, it usually has only time to recognize the unhealthy condition into which the body has degenerated. If it has the desire and is assisted to free itself from the unhealthy influence that is controlling it, it will restore the waste and rebuild the structure. But if the influence is permitted to continue for any great length of time, the mind will become discouraged and possibly allow the body to go on to destruction. It will do this in the hope of throwing off the body that it may thereby be free to go back to the source from which it came. When the mind, from any cause, loses control over any part of the body, that part at once becomes diseased and is destroyed. The destruction of any one of the vital parts of the machinery prevent the working of the others. The machinery then stops, and the soul, mind, departs. That is called death. This shows how worry and trouble cause disease and death. The contented mind is essential to the production and enjoyment of perfect health. It is a jewel of greater value than diamonds or rubies. Every physician knows that he cannot cure the ailments of the body as long as the mind is distressed. Two of the questions they always ask of a patient where any affection of the nerves is shown are, have you had any cause for great worry or anxiety? Are you now under any mental strain? When a medical practitioner fails to cure his patient, he suggests a change of scene, an ocean voyage, a sojourn in California, etc. Why does he do this? Because he knows that a change of environment will necessarily bring new thoughts and new interests to occupy the mind, and thereby shut out the thoughts that are influencing the patient to the extent of controlling his mind and destroying his body. He who worries attracts to him the thoughts of others who worry, and thus the cause of disease is intensified and multiplied. To have perfect health, one must have a contented mind, for we attract to us from others the exact feelings we encourage within ourselves. None of us are in the true sense individuals. We are a part of each other and a part of the whole scheme of creation. In Romans 14:7, we read, "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself." Our health and our success both lie in the thoughts and feelings we have for our neighbors, for the thoughts we think of them and will attract similar thoughts to us, but in a greater quantity. The law of mentalism, the whole trend and swing of the universe, offers a reward to man to be honest, just, gentle, and generous. For we are so bound together that nobility is one kindless nobility in all, and one man's hurt is an injury to all. To shut out all discouraging, worry, devitalizing thought, and to cease speaking of our ailments, real or imaginary, it is not possible until we take up a few line of thought. If we fill the brain with healthful thoughts, there will be no room for others. Therefore, we must believe in health, not for others only, but for ourselves as well. If we live in this belief and think health and talk health, it will be ours. Parents should use great care in the thoughts they think with reference to the health of their children, because children have in the past suffered from certain varieties of disease. It has become a common belief with nearly every mother, father, and guardian that all children must undergo at some time one or more of these periods of ill health. By keeping this universal, erroneous thought in their mind, they are ready the moment they hear of some other child suffering to think that their child is in danger. These thoughts of disease are conveyed from the brain of the person to that of the child. The thoughts of fear are ever present in their minds, and should the child, as a result of the thoughts they are thinking, show the slightest symptom of an indisposition, they at once conclude that it has taken the disease and is going to be sick. Such thoughts not only affect the health of the child, but they also attract the thoughts of others' parents who are fearful of that particular class of disease. This avalanche of thought rushes in upon the frail child. Its mind is controlled and the disease created, for the child's will and mind are not strong enough to throw off the effect produced by the thoughts of so many others. People should not be permitted to talk of disease and ill health in the presence of children. In fact, they should not be allowed to talk of such things at all, as every word and thought injures someone.